Okay, this is like an intuitive message, or even like a psychic nudge that is really nagging at you because of that wolf howling to the moon. It screams out to me a sense of immense longing for something, wanting to call it into being, wanting to manifest it, wanting to create it, wanting to I guess like verbalizing what it is that you're calling for, right? So then it comes into the picture. And what I have here is the shaman. And this is about divine wisdom, spiritual power. This is looking at things from a bird's eye view with a higher vantage point so that you can see how all the parts fit together to form a whole. Seeing how things are very interrelated and interconnected so that one decision made will have ripple effects to create, I guess, like a disturbance or even to affect something that is further afield. And so I feel like you come into this holistic understanding about actions and consequences, about how every decision is not made in a vacuum. Something that we do, a few years ago in this part of the world could have long-reaching consequences in another part of the world in the present time. So it's almost like being spiritually mindful about the energies that we send out into the universe so that we don't affect things in a negative way. Being responsible and being resourceful and understanding that, energies, resources are very finite. And so we don't take more than we need. We don't deprive other people of limited resources if we're just, scrambling for resources to hoard and to hog. Okay, so I feel like you're coming into this really enlightened state of being where you're starting to understand cause and effect, actions and consequences. And it's not just, whatever exists in your linear time. I feel like you're trying to understand how actions and consequences can reverberate through time. And when I'm looking at this, I also feel like, this sense of immense wisdom that is coming into your life. I feel almost like there is a situation that you're longing for. You might be clinging to, you might be thinking about the next step. You might be contemplating what is going to be made available to you, what is coming through. And I can assure you, the last two cards are about outcomes, are about, we start the beginning of the month here and eventually we want to end here. And so where you are right now and where you want to be, we want to look at all the energies that are kind of like affecting, hindering, or helping your progress to get you where you need to be. Okay. And so what I have here is the 10 of acorns. This is the 10 of wands. And then I have the star. And the star card signifies, it's wish fulfillment, okay? It's being able to achieve whatever it is that we desire. And when it's paired up with this 10 of acorns, 10 of wands, the acorn energy is the wands in this deck. It's about unburdening ourselves, letting go of physical belongings, letting go of expectations, letting go of things that are really bogging us down, making us very heavy. Resentment sometimes, resentment, clinging on to relationships, clinging on to a way of life, clinging on to possessions, clinging on to, people that we feel very emotionally connected to, even though they might no longer serve a purpose in our lives. So I feel like there's an unburdening process that is happening here. It's associated with the star. So it's kind of like a reminder. You need to unburden. You need to kind of let it go so that you can move on, so that you can travel light, so that you can feel free to be able to attract and to manifest, to have new energies come in, to manifest new things and to draw new things to come into the picture. It's like that platform, right? It's synchronized and it's perfectly designed and engineered where one train leaves and the other train arrives. Okay, so I feel as if there's a message here for you guys. Is there something that you're holding on to very dearly and very tightly, and in the process of not allowing yourself to release it, it's preventing things from coming in for you? Okay, so I want you to sit with that just for a moment. I'm drawn to that image where I mentioned, with the train departing. There are people on the platform, they're saying goodbye to the people that they love. They're saying goodbye, okay? Somebody, the passengers on that train, they're heading towards their new life. They're heading towards like a new way of living. They're heading far away. And the people on the platform are like unable to let go because of that emotional connection. They're unable to let that go. And the train is the catalyst for severing that connection, but also allowing something to take place, allowing something to move forward and progress so that new things can come in. So I feel like, Virgos, is there something in your life that is an emotional attachment of yours and is no longer serving you in this present moment? And for many of you, we have here the Two of Cups. This is a potential relationship, okay? A partnership even. And this is a really, it's like a very exalted connection because with the Cups energy, it's spiritual and emotional in nature. It's mutual support, it's love, and it's friendship built on mutual respect. And what I feel is happening here is, for many of you, you started out as the lone wolf, right? And life can feel very, very lonely, right? You're naturally, you guys are a very shy sign. Like typically you don't want to be the center of attention. You're not like the wisecracking, the busybody, the one that needs to be in the limelight. That's not you. And I feel like, you go through your life as this lone wolf and you've transformed. You've met like a group of people that you are really emotionally tied to. It could be a work environment. It could be someone who's very dependent on you. It could be like a mutual situation where it's not toxic or unhealthy, but it's sort of like a really strong emotional connection. And you're unable to change your way of life to, move out of your location, to get a new job, to get a promotion, to progress, to want more. It's something that could potentially take up a lot of your time and energy and resources. And it's disallowing you from having that finite resource to devote to yourself. And so we are seeing this shedding of the lone wolf energy because you're in a partnership or you're in a situation that is demanding a lot more of your time and you're preoccupied with it. You go to work and that's the first thing you experience in the day. You go to sleep at night and that's the last thing you think about. So I feel like it is really energetically pulling you. And I also feel like it's, there's a lot of warmth. There's a lot of, I feel like it's a really good connection. But then I also feel like it's preventing more things from coming in for you. Okay, it doesn't mean that this is somebody that's consciously making a decision to block your blessings. I don't feel that it's that way. But I feel energetically, it's a little bit of a burden on an energetic level because energy is very finite. It's not unlimited, right? We can only devote certain amount of energy to certain things. And we can devote a certain amount of thoughts to certain things. And so you want to be focused with your goals, your plans, your actions as an individual so that you can, bring things closer to you that you really want. So I feel like there's something here about how being as a unit, as a couple, as a unit, as a partner in a partnership, it brings about a lot of blessings. But I feel like something has also run its course where the obvious decision is to kind of walk away from it. Okay. And I feel that I'm seeing I'm seeing a like a female wolf. Okay, she might be pregnant, and or she might have given birth, because I'm seeing like the young ones in a cave. Okay, in the crevice of a tree in a cave, and then she's outside scouting and looking for food. So I feel as if somebody is going out scouting, somebody is venturing out into the world. They're exiting a place of safety. They're going out into the world to go scouting, to scope out the environment, to see what life has to offer, to see what else is available. And then I'm feeling somebody is like drawing them back in, like, no, don't do that. Don't leave me. Don't go there. Don't, so I'm getting here. Somebody is afraid that you're going to leave. Somebody is afraid. And I feel like the energies, of course, can be switched. Because on the flip side of being the lone wolf is, being very connected. You might have an emotional connection to somebody, and you're afraid that they're venturing out and not coming back. You're afraid that troubles and dangers will befall them. You're afraid that they might be, I want to say, like, lured away from the cave, lured away from their path back to you. So I feel like there's a situation here where somebody is thriving better with independence, and the other person is disallowing that independence. Okay? So it's like, when somebody's old enough, they need to fly the nest. And if you're in a position where you can guide them so that you can steer them away from danger, you want to do that rather than holding them back, rather than not letting them develop to their full potential. So I definitely feel like there's a situation here. It's done out of love. It's done out of that sense of safety and protection, but it can feel a little bit like we're overreaching or overstepping our boundaries, or we're not really doing the other person a favor, because they need to venture out and kind of like experience life on their own. So I want you to look at this combination, okay? This is like, I gotta go out. I gotta find food. I have to go scope out the territory. I have to figure out, where the food source is. So it's kind of like an anteater. And this is an armadillo reaching out his hand, almost like, no, don't go. His or her hand. No, don't go. Don't leave me here. I'm kind of stuck here. This is thorny. I don't want to be here. And, it's like, if you're going to go, please come back. Okay, so I feel like it's a tearjerker. It's like the tearful goodbyes. But with the train, one train is departing, the other one is arriving. Everything is very cyclical. It's going to come full circle, right? So that basically means that they're going to go off and do their own thing. And then one day, they're going to come back around. So they have to leave first for them to return. And so I feel like this is really telling you to allow things and situations to change, to understand that, we have to let something go. If we love something, we have to let it go. We have to let the other person go to find their own life's calling. And if destiny takes them back to us, then it's meant to be, right? So it's like loving with an open hand, okay? Not a closed fist, but like an open hand, so that we can allow the best opportunities to come in for ourselves and for the other person, so that we both can grow. Otherwise, it gets very stifled and claustrophobic, and just, it could potentially turn very toxic. Okay. I feel for many of you, you might be dealing with somebody who might have had their fair share of abandonment issues. Okay, so like, I feel that you have pretty much been like an anchor in their life. You're like the pillar of stability. You're the anchor. You're the person that they have always depended on. And when you say you're going to go, I'm going to be gone, you tell them exactly, I'm going to be gone half an hour, I'll come back. And sure enough, half an hour later, you always come back. So you're kind of like that pillar of strength and stability in their life. You're the one thing that is very predictable in their life. And I also feel like for some of you, it's like clockwork. They're so used to having you around And I feel like they might have taken it for granted. They might have not seen the value in you properly. They might have, I'm also hearing like downplay your importance in their life. Everything that they've achieved in life, I feel like, they might have credited themselves rather than credited you. Okay. And so what I sense is, if you're exiting the picture, now they're just like coming to this realization, this awareness that don't go. I can't do this on my own. I can't be here on my own. And I feel that you've grown bigger, too big for the cave, too big for that little crevice in the tree where the two of you have been holding up, or where they have been holding up. They're trying to get you back in. And it's like, no, I don't live in a tree. I'm made to live in a mansion. I'm made to live in a place that is warm, that is lit. I can't live in a dark, dank environment and thrive. And so, I feel like for many of you, turning your back on a toxic person, turning your back on a person who has abandonment issues and who is taking it out on you, as well as, throwing temper tantrums in order to get their way as well, okay? And that's for a very small minority of you, because I do feel like there is a connection here that is very exalted. Two people are better off working together, but for whatever reason, I feel like you have outgrown this connection and you're well prepared. Knight of Swords. You're well prepared to take what you have learned and apply it into your world, charting your own path and creating your own vision. And you might have no need for this connection anymore. And not to sound like somebody who is, a user or anything like that, but I just feel like, that's the way things are meant to play out in this connection. Another thing, so this is pretty much... another thing that I was getting messages on is this. Okay, going back to the wolf howling at the moon. I feel like for Virgo people, okay, and I'm sensing like the way that it's playing out in this spread. We have the world here, and this is like the world is your oyster. There are so many possibilities, okay, and you're the whale here. You're capable of moving into deep waters. You're capable of seeing all the things, all the sea creatures that are lying beneath, okay? Whales also come back for air, and they blow water out of their, the spout, or I guess the blowhole. And they surface for air. And every time they surface for air, they do that splash that is really, it's an amazing sight. Right? So I feel like you are capable of surviving on the surface as well as underwater. And what I mean by this is I feel like there's somebody who only exists in one realm. They have trouble connecting. They have trouble relating. They have a lot of trouble sympathizing, understanding, and seeing the whole picture. But I feel like you are a creature of both world, where you're able to make sense of things. You're able to see the big picture, like I mentioned before. And so life for you is a series of exploration. Okay. Virgo is still, it's still a fairly, young earth sign. It's still a fairly young earth sign. And so it's asking you to embody this playful energy in the spirit of newness, in the spirit of exploration. For many of you, it can seem very scary, right? It can seem really scary to dive deep into deep waters where you might not be able to breathe, where you might not be able to see, where there could be, dangers that you can't really foresee and escape from. However, you're the whale, you're big, okay? And so little critters are not going to mess with you pretty much. And so I feel like your persona is really big. Your capabilities are very big. And that means in any situation that you find yourself in, you're going to be able to get out of it intact. And in every work environment, let's just use that as an analogy because I feel like you can understand me better. In every work environment, no matter what tasks your superiors give you, you learn it, you do it well, and then soon you become an expert, right?